Hey traders, this is Ron Haidt at Market Tamer. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing fantastic. As always, everything in this presentation is for educational purposes only. We'll kick off here with the Dow ETF. The Dow is up 0.22%. Target area, the all-time highs up there, 272.50. You take a look at the Qs, they were down a whopping 0.29%. They backtested the 50-day. Again, bulls still have the edge in the big three. Now, if we go to the IWM, which is the Russell 2000, it was up 1.28%. Closed near the highs of the day. Target now is up there around 157.5 to 158. So they're playing a little bit of catch up, at least for today. Your mid caps, while only up 0.59%, you can see the bigger volume bars are starting out. The up days are higher than the down days. But look what we did. 2 straight days. Back testing the 50-day, the institutional moving average in orange, closing at the highs of the day both times. So there was some back and fill, and then boom, they wanted to take prices higher. Home for the night. Target is now up here around 362. How about TLT? These are bonds. They were down 1.75%. Yesterday, we broke the 20-day. That's the first sign of trouble. Today, we finished the lows of the day and are on our way towards the 50-day from a technical perspective. Right now, that is about a little over $2 lower. And we're starting to see red bars taller than black bars. The bears are getting the edge also on volume, which is putting the bulls more on notice here. So again, keep an eye on that 50-day. If the bulls can't hold it, bears get the edge. Gold, silver, and the miners. Let's take a look at gold, down 0.86%. Target 50-day. We lose the 50-day, bulls are done on the daily chart, bears get the edge. How about silver, SLV? Up 0.12%, a lousy 2 cents. It still is holding the 20-day, and interestingly enough, since the breakout started here in July, it's acted as support beginning of August, middle of August, and so far now, we lose the red line. I think that would be enough to say bulls lost their edge here, but we get below the 50-day, the bears get their edge. So between the 20 and 50, I call it limbo land right now on SLV. We take a look at the silver miners. They were up 0.61%. Watch the 50-day here. If we look at the gold miners, GDX, they were down 0.79%, 2 straight days, and this is noteworthy. 2 straight days below the 50-day, but look what happened in intraday today. We actually went back up, hit the 50-day, closed near the lows of the day. If I was long GDX here, if I wanted to be bullish on it, I couldn't. I just couldn't after today. You broke the 50-day yesterday. Today you had a back test and fail. Now you got to go down here. Maybe 26 could be potentially some support. Was resistance here, then support here. Then a gap filled to 24. They're starting to roll over, and with the miners leading, it's not looking good for the overall metals. So GDX now has lost its bullish edge. GDXJ, which are the juniors, they were down 0.68%. They couldn't even get back up to their 50 days. So they have a little, I don't even want to say a little bit of support here at 37, but maybe a little bit more at 35. Then there's a gap filled down here. But gold juniors and the mains, they're all, the big boys, they're all now turning bearish. Apple was up 1.18% today. It did close the highs of the day. It did break above the previous close and the close over here. So technically, Apple's target now are going to be the all-time highs up towards 2.25, 230. If I go back 2 years, you can see it again. That's the peak before we had the big pullback. Just keep in mind that historically, it doesn't do that well this time of year. So just some caution there on Apple, even though it is breaking out. How about Shopify? Down almost 6% today, back-to-back big selling days. Look at that volume. And we cracked the 50-day. Bulls, you've enjoyed a heck of a run since the market bottomed back in December and January. We got back above the 20 and the 50. You were around 150 a share. You went all the way up to 400. You've been put on notice. Now you're down at 337 after today. Bulls have lost their edge on the daily charts. If we go to OLED, otherwise known as Universal Display, this is interesting because this is quite a mover. In January, it was at 90. Then you're at 170, then at 150, then you're up here in the low 200s. But look what happened. Bearish engulfing yesterday, but it still held the 20-day. Remember how we like confirmation? Well, guess what? We got that today. Wow. Gap lower, closed the lows of the day, big spike in volume. Bears have the edge. We also closed below the low here from 8.5. The next target, maybe down here at 150. I'm not saying it's going to get there, but that's where support is. Down around that 150, maybe down to 145 area. How about Roku? This has been a high flyer too, right? $40 come beginning of the year. Now it's at 170. Back-to-back down days and bearish engulfing yesterday. Closed below the 20-day here. bigger volume as well. Target's 50-day, and then a gap fill down to 100. These are considerably lower targets, so the bulls are losing their edge on Roku. Bearish engulfing is confirmed. BLL, we don't talk about this much, huh? Ball Corp, another one. Big move. January is at 45, 46 bucks, all the way up to 80. Well, look what happened. Bearish engulfing, and now we're getting the follow through with bigger volume. Bulls have lost their edge here. This is only really a one-day move. I would say the bigger support down near 60. Again, some serious downside targets for a lot of these stocks. Some other stocks to keep an eye on. I know we've been talking about a bunch of them lately, and they've been flying higher. Here is NKTR. This is Nectar Therapeutics. Big pop today. Volume wasn't the best, but this is becoming a rounded bottom of sorts above the 20-day. Once we get into the gap, and this is where I would watch. That open, let's just do the high. The high right there was 21. Yeah, 2104. We get above there, the gap fill up towards 30 would be the target. I mean, that's huge. PBYI is Puma Biotechnology. No idea what they do. This is purely technical in nature, but another big pop in volume, cleared the previous high target, the gap down, 18-ish, and then there's a gap fill up at 30. Not saying it's going to get there, but there's a breakout occurring on this one. How about MAXR, which is MAXR Technologies, another one, 50 bucks a year ago. Now we're down here at 8. If I zoom in, big volume surge, popped above a previous high, popped above both moving averages. Immediate target's about a $1.12, maybe $1.30 or 40 higher, up towards 10 bucks. We get above 10 bucks, then we have to start thinking about maybe something back up here. And last but not least is YRCW. This is Yellow Roadway. It was down at 2 bucks, and it held 2 bucks twice. Late August, early September. Now we're starting to see a big volume pop. Closed at 346. I mean, technically, where was the target? Maybe a gap fill to 7. Not saying it's going to get there, but that kind of volume spike can indicate, you know what, the bears have lost their edge with the close above the moving averages. So a lot of turnaround stories from going down to up, and now from up to rolling over. Again, I hope you find these videos helpful. Wish you guys all the very best, and I'll be back with you tomorrow. Take good care.